Hi, it's Terry from Everything Homestead, back with you today. I'm going to show you a couple of the basics of putting up a fence. It's not going to be a tutorial on every little thing about putting the fence up, just the basics of getting it started and set up right to begin with. To me, that's the most important part of the fence, is getting the preparation and the posts lined up and everything first. If you're going to be on a homestead, these are some of the skills you should learn. There's a lot of ins and outs that make a big difference. For instance, when I put the wire up on here, I'm going to put the wire up on the animal side of the fence. So if they push up against the wire at any point, they won't be able to push the wire clip off the post and get the wire loose. If they push up against the wire when the wire is on their side, they're actually pushing up against the wire and the posts. It makes it more difficult for them to get free. So let me turn it around a little bit and show you what I got going here. So this is what I got going here. I just have a short woven wire fence. I'm just expanding the sheep pen a little bit wider, so I'm putting up a new section here. One of the factors you need to consider is that good fences make good neighbors, is the old saying. Some of the things you have to think about is that if you have a cow or a horse or something like that that gets out and goes over to your neighbor's place, and if it eats up the garden that they have, you're going to have an upset neighbor. If God forbid the cow or a horse wanders out to the road, gets hit by another vehicle, worst case scenario, you could possibly kill somebody, and then guess who's liable for that? It's kind of important sometimes to make sure you get your fencing skills down. You can't just throw up some wire and think it'll work. So to start with, the basics of a fence. There's a lot of videos out there that show you how to put up a woven fence. I've got my tractor down there with, it's like a paper towel dispenser for a redneck down there with the woven wire. I'm just gonna grab that, pull it all the way down here, lay it out. But plenty of videos on YouTube to show you how that works and how to tension it and so on. Wire tension is very important, but go check out someone else's video for that, because I don't have time to do that right now. Most important to me are the posts set up. So on each end, you need at least 2 wood posts, whether it be a barbed wire fence or woven wire fence. You got the end post right here. I got the end post right here. It's set up. I'm going to hang a gate on it. When you look at this, you're going to put tension on the wire. You know, like I said, whether it's barbed wire or woven wire, you're going to pull tension on that. And it's going to pull tension on this post, and it's going to pull it that way. And so to avoid the post from being tipped over, I mean, this is buried almost 4 feet in the ground, but it will over time start leaning because of the tension of the wire pulling on it. So that's why you put in the post here with the cross brace that supports this post from leaning this way from the tension of the wire. But there's still tension on the wire pulling that post that way, which would then put pressure on this post, which would eventually push that post that way too. So that's why we put this cross wire in here. To do that, I just took some heavy wire, or you could also use some barbed wire. I've done that before. You just loop it down in around the bottom, put a little clip in there. But it's very important that this setup it's down low on the end post and up high on the inside post, or this whole thing doesn't work. And I just loop it up here, put another clip on there so it doesn't go anywhere. So it's just one big loop, connect the 2 ends together, which I did right there. Just turn them back on themselves. Then I just took this old pipe I had laying around. You stick it between the 2 wires and just start spinning it. And what that does, it gets tighter and tighter. It draws that post that way and this one this way, which it isn't going to go very far because it's so close to the ground. But it's going to draw this post in and put pressure on this to keep that nice and tight against that post and that post. In this situation, I just took the time and I kind of notched the post a little bit. Then I sunk a couple of screws in there just to hold it a little bit more on top of the tension that this wire provides. But this wire is very important to keep it all, keeping it straight up and down. and then that can usually hold the tension of the wire that you throw on it. That'll keep it, I call it the H-frame. There are some supports in the posts where they take the angled post, you know, they take a, well, I got one up here and up there. You get a little, where is it? A little angle piece at an angle like that, but a lot of times when it's at an angle like that, over time, sometimes it can actually make the end post, it puts pressure up on this post. Sometimes it pushes that post right out of the ground if you don't have things just perfect. Another thing I like to do is sometimes people don't take the time to get this post set in place. I like to put it as level as possible. I actually use a level and make sure that anytime it's out of level, you're putting funny forces on it, which could possibly pull a post up one way or the other, and I don't want that. So the more level you can get this, the better it'll be. And then the only other thing that I could point out is that when I set these T-posts in down through here, you can see it's pretty well lined up. For this woven wire, I just took some construction string and I just looped around here, run it down the other end, gave me a straight line, and I pounded in my posts along that straight line. It makes it look a lot more professional anyway when you're all done, but it also makes it a lot easier to apply the wire if your fence posts are in a straight line. If I'm doing a barbed wire fence, I'll just run the first row of barbed wire down low, run that across, get that on there, and then that's my guide. So just some basic tips on how to get it set up. It's the most important part, I think. If you have any questions or comments, please submit them there. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. One more thing I've just thought about. Just got done pulling this wire off my tractor down there. It's set a roll on the loader. That was pretty slick. It only took me about 2 minutes. Grabbed a hold of it, rolled it all the way down here, got caught on the end of the post here. But the thing I remembered, probably should let you know, is it took me a long time to figure it out on my own because no one told me, but works best if you're going to put in barbed wire. Usually I do at least 4 strands of barbed wire. When you go to tension the barbed wire, tension the top one first. If you do the bottom one first, and then the next one, work your way up, by the time you tension this top one, it's going to move. The top one has the most leverage to pull this post a little bit. You know, even if it moves at 1/4 of an inch, when you get done tensioning that top one, you just loosen up all the ones down below. Then you gotta go back and retighten the other one. So if you start from the top one, that takes all the play out of these posts right off the bat. Then you can go ahead and tension your way down and you'll have no problems. Just thought I'd point that out.